Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 27. I am still here in Washington, even though it looks like I'm in the middle of like Idaho, Wyoming, like Utah. Like it's just so deserty out here and like sand looking. I am actually at the Manhattan Project, one of 3 sites that they have across the country. There's another one in Tennessee and another one in New Mexico. And I just want to share this because, okay, so I do all my road trips. It looks like I have it pretty well planned out. I don't really have it really well planned out. Like I have like the idea of where I want to go, but when somebody mentions something, I'm like, oh, that's cool, I'm gonna go check that out. Or like when I'm at my Starbucks in the evening, I'll be like, hey, let's see what else is around here, because like I have a 5-hour drive to the next place. There's got to be something in between. And so last night when I was at the Starbucks, I was looking up like national parks and monuments, and I found the Manhattan Project, and I was like, what is it gonna be, like a ghost town that like you can't go to because like because it's like top secret? Turns out they actually do tours, so I decided to book a last-minute tour. Yesterday at 10 o'clock, I booked an 8 a.m. tour for this morning, and so we're going to do this. It's like a 4-hour thing, so they say we can bring cameras and stuff like that, so I'm going to show you guys whatever I can, but it's just crazy how, like, I just go with the flow, come up with these things, and I have, like, awesome opportunities like this. So, let's go check it out. Alright, so we are in Plant B. This is ridiculous. This is a nuclear fission reactor, nuclear reactor. Alright, so everything here had like code words, which is kind of interesting. So like the uranium and everything was called the metal. I think, yeah, the metal. And then the plants, the actual nuclear reactor, was called like the pile. So like they would say like the metal has entered the pile. And then like what comes out at the other end like is the product, instead of saying like what it actually is. But you actually get to go inside of the facility here. It's ridiculous. I probably got like a couple of the metals wrong in that, but I'm not a chemist, so I don't know. Oh man, I don't even know what this is. Control room? What the heck? Oh man. Oh man, old newspapers. Check out the old phone. Man, it looks like they had some like gas masks. Here's the control room. Oh man. That's where they deliberate in there. Almost like washing machines. Laundromat. And then here's your old first aid kit. Triangular bandage. Whoa. Accumulators. Don't know exactly what they do, but... Oh yeah, look, you can see there's like stone or gravel or something inside of them. Oh, and this is like a safety mechanism, so if something went wrong, if they lost power, the rocks would drop and they would land on this, which would push water into the reactor to cool it fast. Aha. The last resort. That makes sense. And I don't know if it's ironically or what, but their bathrooms look just like they do in middle school. And hold on a second, I was wrong. It's not water that I pushed in. It pushed in the rods that would like be a safety mechanism that would stop the reactor. So either way, it was a way to stop the reactor. So like while they made like the uranium or whatever it was to make the nuclear bomb here, they didn't do everything here. So like they had to like transport it all. So they have the old train from like back when they would like move everything, because there's a spot here, there's a spot in Los Alamos, New Mexico, and a spot in Tennessee. So like after different parts of the process, they would have to pull it out on a train. That is such an old train, man. And then like even within the confines of this place, like this isn't the only reactor. There was 9 reactors. They only used 3 of them because they wanted to keep them far enough away from each other, but that's exactly what it looks like. This is what they would call the pile. The pile is hidden in there. And so this place used to be run by the Department of Energy. It's been transitioned over to the National Park Services. But hopefully one day you won't have to take a 45-minute bus ride from the headquarters here, and you'll be able to just drive up once they're done like transitioning everything. So definitely a tour worth doing though. You learn, it's interesting how much information they give you that like you never would have gotten before. Like 5 years ago, the guy was telling us like 5 years ago, they never would have disclosed any of this information. It would have been all top secret, but now they share so much about like, they were making enough materials for making a bomb every 6 weeks. Like that's just crazy. We don't need that many nuclear bombs. But they never would have told us that like 5 years ago. It's kind of crazy. So definitely a tour worth doing, and it's free too, which is awesome. All right, so I feel confident I'm gonna try to explain this. So what we have there, you have a mini replica right here. So those are all the outside parts. So on the inside is where they have graphite, like in a pencil graphite, because that would keep the radiation in. So that's like a source of insulation. Then they would have a layer of metal that like insulated, and then they also had a mixture of cardboard and more metal to insulate. So that way, if you stay on the outside, you're not going to get radiation, which is kind of crazy. Those are the rods that are like safety rods. So like when that's in, the reactions can't happen, and so that's what the big giant containers of rocks would do, is like when they would drop, they would pop those needles back into the machine so that it would stop it, it would be able to work. In these little things you would have, that's where like the water would be injected, as well as the different materials. This is like what the uranium would look like. It'd be like a tube like that, and then they would have these other tubes that would go they would go in first and last, because they would be in the area where there's the cardboard and stuff. And then this would be on the inside part, which is where the graphite is, which is where they would have the actual chemical fission reactions happening. And then the water that was being pumped into the machine, it would start up there at the river, it would go down, go through, and then right there is where we are. And then you go to the chemical plant before it goes back out into the water. I don't know what all those are, and then it'd go back out really hot to the lake. Now that was a very rough, brief explanation. You definitely want to come to the tour to get like a more formal and more educated example. That was just my attempt. Alrighty, welcome now to Polluse Falls State Park. It is literally here in that desert part of Washington that you find this mega waterfall and mega pond down there. I just can't believe that this is in the middle of like the desert out here. You can see it like continues down like along the river, and like I'm sure there's tons of hikes to do and like scenic overlooks, but it is like 100 degrees out here and it's ridiculous. Look, it barely looks like there's like a river over there. It's like a tiny little stream that's pouring out all that water. It's just crazy. So I'm probably not going to stick around, but that is just ridiculous. People are down there bathing. It doesn't look that clean of water, but imagine being right underneath that. That would be probably painful and probably not safe. Alrighty, that is going to be it for today. It was kind of short because there's a lot of driving today. But something I wanted to highlight is that, so when I was doing the tour of the nuclear facility, they talked about, they talked about like, you know, security, that kind of thing. I was like, well, how do you keep somebody from not telling? Because nobody knew that the facility exists. Like all the people who lived around didn't like know. They had to keep it a secret. Like everybody who worked there couldn't tell their family. They couldn't tell anybody. Like I was just kind of like, how do they keep people from saying things? Because like nowadays, if you do that, like there's non-disclosures and stuff, but like still, like nobody would, like I feel like something that big, nobody would keep it. Somebody would leak. Supposedly they have like spies and things like that who were listening in, but it was very much a different mentality then. It was like they had tons of propaganda saying like, don't share, like they had catchy phrases of course, but like, don't share, it's for your country, like do what's right for your country, like your safety is like your secret or something like that, like all kinds of different things. And it's just interesting to see how like back in those days like propaganda could really like influence people, and it just gave me a new like mindset on the fact that like today we can kind of like speak freely, and also it makes me wonder like what kind of other secrets now are being saved, because not even the vice president knew about the fact that they had the nuclear facility. He only learned that when he had to step up. So it's just like interesting to like see, first of all, the facility, and second of all, gain that like understanding of like what life was like back then, like how it's kind of different, how people's character, personality was different. So just wanted to share that with you, that I thought about. But yeah, so that's it for today. Tomorrow we're gonna head up northern Idaho, and then into Montana, the state I've been waiting to get to for like ever. I heard it's beautiful, so I'm so excited for that. So until then, if you guys enjoyed this video, please do hit the subscribe button, because I do a daily video. And if you know somebody who would really enjoy traveling, who wants to learn about traveling, or who just wants to live vicariously through me, please share this YouTube channel with them. Even if you want, like, take them to it and then subscribe them for it. Or take them to the Facebook page, the Young Travelers Movement, so you can show them a little bit, so they can learn about the different things I do and the different life lessons that I get and that kind of thing. So with that being said, I really appreciate you guys tuning in, leaving comments. I love to hear those. I love to respond to those and help you guys out, or just hear your story. So until next time, share with somebody you know, and have a great rest of the day. High five!